There's a new study out that shows it's now more important than ever to plan a career. A new report is suggesting that advances in automation will put more than 40% of the jobs that exist now at risk. That study from Ryerson University in Toronto says that over the next 2 decades, computers will be able to handle tasks such as driving and simple human interaction. Jobs such as truck drivers, salespersons, and cashiers will, according to the study, be the jobs that are most at risk of becoming obsolete. On the other hand, jobs in management, technology, and teaching are considered the least at risk. Joining us now to tell us more is Sean Mulling, Executive Director of the Brookfield Institute for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. He joins us from Toronto. Mr. Mulling, I hate to be a Luddite about this, but what's new? We always know that computers were going to someday take over the world. What does this study have new in it?
Well, thank you. Yeah, I think what we've done here today is we've taken the impact of some of these technologies, studies that were also done in other jurisdictions, and applied it to Canadian labor market data for the first time. And we broke that down onto an occupation by occupation level. So I think I agree that people have long commented on the trend of computers and automation impacting the workforce. But today we were able to unveil a study that showed how that drills down into particular areas of the workforce, what jobs are at risk, what jobs are less at risk, and then and also look at what that means in terms of how to potentially prepare ourselves to address this challenge.
Well, we looked at some of those jobs a moment ago, talking about driving, simple human interaction type of jobs, jobs such as truck drivers, salespersons, cashiers, apparently going to be the jobs that are most at risk. What do those jobs have in common that place them at risk?
Well, I think what started to happen, particularly in the fields of artificial intelligence, deep learning, developments in software, is we're about to reach an inflection point where many jobs that to date had resisted automation because they involved judgment, because they involved services-based interactions, because they were potentially more white-collar type jobs, or simply things that could not be left unsupervised, such as driving a truck, are now about to cross into the threshold where full automation in the form of advanced artificial intelligence and others will be able to replace those workers. And that's particularly, I think, why we see we're predicting such a big impact on the labor force over the next 10 to 20 years.
If you were advising your kids as to what career that they should get into, what would you suggest?
Well, I think it's a really good question, and I would kind of answer that in 2 ways. One, I would look pretty closely at the list of occupations that we've kind of estimated are going to be on the low risk side. Things that involve things like professional occupations like lawyers or doctors, things that involve creativity. So composers and artists and design is very much on the low end of the probability. Things that involve people, so teaching young children, caring for the elderly, caring for the sick. These are the types of jobs that we think are going to resist automation. And then the thing I would say is there's going to be a classification of jobs that are going to be an evolution of current jobs that'll be aided by computer technology. And I would say, again, to my kids or to anyone who's in the education system, make sure you build out the ability to interact with computers. Digital literacy, we would broadly speak, we would call that. Because those are the types of skills that you're going to need to perform any job in the future successfully.
Oh dear. Well, that's bad news for me. I'm still struggling to figure out my TV remote. Sean Mulling from Brookfield Institute for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. Nonetheless, it's good to speak with you.
Thank you for having me.